guys want to get some coffee or something?
Can I get a cup of coffee? Black? Can't you see we talking? White?
Even little kids in Mexico drink coffee.
Well, I'm not a little kid in Mexico, okay?
That is the best coffee I've ever tasted.
A damn fine cup of coffee.
You want a cup of coffee?
No coffee.
Coffee drinker, huh?
Maybe we could grab some coffee?
Coffee, 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 coffee.
God damn, Jimmy. That's some serious gourmet shit. Me and Vincent would have been satisfied with some freeze-dried Taster's Choice, right? And he springs this serious gourmet shit on us.
That's my walking theme.
I can't help but bop to it every time.
I know, it's so up. Oh, I heard myself.
Sorry, I didn't get mute quick.
I know words are tough in the morning, buddy. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I know.
I
didn't.
That was really funny. It's like when I would yell at Zoe sometimes, I wouldn't even use words. She would do something and go, she would just laugh and like, what did I do?
It's how we yell at cats at our house.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning to my panel. Anima is not here yet. She lost power. I know she lost power this morning. I told her don't stress out about it. Just join when it's good. Let's see. We got Dr. Dragon. It is so cold in here. I just watched mist come out of my mouth. It threw me off. Like, what was that? It was like, no, it's mist. Oh shit! It's cold enough that I can leave my dairy products out, and they don't spoil. That's how cold it is in my studio right now. But I'm glad they got me a little space heater, so when my hands start hurting, I just drop my hand down to this heater and it blows hot air on my hand. It makes it
all the amenities.
So much better. I want to say good morning again to Dr. Dragon, Penny, Dork Knight's mommy, and D. Bud Martin, Das Wolfen, who is also on the show.
Yep.
Let's see who else is joining us. Colonizer Jeebus is here. And I'm not going to mention you, Chris. That was a mistake when I did, John. Joseph Dredd is here. First cousin to Judge Dredd. Actually, he calls himself non-judgy Dredd. He's very open-minded, or so I hear.
Homies?
Zax is here, a.k.a. Kyle. Let's see. Charlie Bruce is here. Joseph. Let me see. Am I missing anybody? Alex Moore. Alex Moore is here. Dork is here.
Light, too, my buddy.
Jacob is here. Jacob the Critic. Dragon Ruse is here. Scribe Light. Whoa. We're doing pretty good already.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Happy Monday, everybody.
Yeah. Normally I drop an F-bomb Monday. Yeah, it's effing Monday.
But we got to get, I know
I'm
they said
trying. No, they're absolutely okay with the cussing, but my concern is that we need to move towards having actual legitimate sponsors on the show. Yes. Now, the neat thing about this radio show, they're giving us a lot of exposure, but it's going to be our responsibility to get commercials on the show in order to pay us. The radio station, all of its advertisers are for them. And so each one of us is going to be responsible to try to get I just forgot the word, sponsor for their show. But on top of that, I am going to be looking for an overall sponsor that wants to be on all the channels. Now, on average, we'll be asking a certain set amount, because you heard Scott go over that last night, because Scott, just like Charlie, has a history of working in radio, and Charlie's even more with working in television. But we need to focus on trying to find those so the show begins to actually pay for itself and we get an actual studios.
Yeah, well, I will say this. I have already been kind of working on some stuff. I don't want to say anything prematurely, but I have gone and tried to open up a dialogue with a possible sponsor that might make our friends in the chat some money. So,
well, I got to tell you, also getting deals for the chat is
Yes.
something that I would like to get for things, because that's why I said, every single show should focus on the kind of nerds that show caters to. And that's who the kind of sponsor you should look for, in my opinion.
most of the nerds I know,
I would not, I would not seek out like a baseball trading card company. I wouldn't look for stores to do that. I would look for stores that cater specifically. Like you seem to be focused, Chris. You seem to be focused more on horror and horror fantasy
and sci-fi. Yeah,
I mean,
sci-fi is still a lot of times sci-fi, fantasy horror.
I'd like to
right
have
in here.
a horror fantasy. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I said horror.
Oh, I thought you said horror. Okay.
No.
I just realized trying to go. Why does he look younger? It's like Dork Knight.
He shaved.
Yeah, my special lady friend doesn't like all the white hair on my face, so she wants me to shave. So.
Well, just color it and say, is that better?
Man, that's too much work.
No, dude, I do it. I just don't. I do it once a month. That's why it's starting to get gray.
I can tell, man. You look.
Very salty and peppery. I do want to warn everyone that the following show does have comments made by a veteran. Some subjects discussed on this show may be disturbing to others. Viewer discretion is advised. Look, if you're watching a show and you're going to hear me say things about the military stuff, you know what? You can live with it or go away, one or the other. But I love you guys. And by the way, Monkey Jeebus already broke the wall this morning. So here you go, baby.
Open your back door, baby. Loosen your hinges, I'll show you my key.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I got to find more backdoor ones. The only thing is I can't do songs that have backdoor mentioned in it because they will gank us every time. And by the way, I want to point out in this episode of SEAL Team, they use the word gank. And Anima took notice to the fact that of all of us, I'm the only one that uses that word. None of you guys.
Military word?
It's not really military.
No, it's not. I say
it's
I
used a lot in military.
I just have like gank.
I've never heard you say it.
Man, you just
this is the look on my face. If you were to say it, I go.
Well, no, I mean, it hasn't
make.
come up before because ain't none of you ganked me for nothing, so.
I've been ganked. My back is ganking me this week. I use it all the time. It's common parlance in my language using the word gank.
You know what that is, right?
But we use it in the military too.
You know what that is, right? It's for your back.
Are you rolling a booger on the show? That's great.
No, that's the world's smallest violin playing for your back.
It goes like this, not like this. That's learn your physical. Oh my God, Dan, come on.
Well, the only way
The only way I use ganked is if I'm referring to like PvP when higher level player.
Well, that's where it really got popular when MMOs started growing. Yeah. So people started using it there, but I don't play MMOs. I was using it since the military because it was not from the military, but it's a word that was popular in the military. And I love that in this episode of SEAL Team, he says the operation has been ganked.
Well, besides you, Gerry, I have only heard it on Supernatural.
See, I didn't watch Supernatural, except for maybe.
Yeah, I've never seen a single second of Supernatural, but the Popcast guys keep saying I should. So
I love that they use it because it's a word I like. I'm very fond of that word, ganking somebody. YouTube does it too. Every single time YouTube makes a claim, they made a claim yesterday. and I had to, and we weren't even monetized. And some South American Afghani, because they're like everything was like not America. There was all the countries listed were not in the United States, and they made a claim because I showed the trailer for John Wick.
They're waiting. You know, it's funny. Essentially, it's a scam at the moment. You get people who just go scouring for anything that they can pretend is a copyright violation, just so that if you are monetized, they can get it. They're just counting on people
Free
not
money.
liking it. Yeah.
This is the problem with YouTube's policies.
Oh yeah,
it's a real problem.
So my kids, I got 2 girls. One's a teenager. One's getting near being a teenager. They don't say gank. They say yeet. And unironically too.
That would be yeet, man. Like, yeah, I've been hearing that a lot. I don't know what that
It means like thrown.
Word.
Like
it's like
yeet
it's a combination
like
in which you first jank and then throw.
Okay.
And if you just use the 2 together, a gank and yeet, that just sounds dirty.
Oh my god.
Dear
hey,
sweet
Joe,
baby Jesus.
Joe's in the chat saying that he's painting with us in the background.
Who's in the background?
Joe's atmosphere.
Yo,
No,
mama.
he has
Joe, what up, bro?
My oos.
My oos.
Hey,
What's up?
Joe, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, he liked that meeting we had yesterday.
Dude, are you kidding me? He blew me up for like an hour afterwards, and then we had another meeting. He's super excited. I love it. I love it. I'm so down with how excited he is. It's awesome.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I like the idea of the show. I think I've sold it to Bill already. You saw his response to it. I shared it with you, didn't I?
Yeah. I saw it. Yeah.
So when are we going live on KGRA?
We go live. Dawn and I go live this week, Wednesday, at 4:00 Eastern time, with John Del Vecchio, with Dangerous Military Nerds, and I guess I could.
I thought it was just Dangerous Nerds. Did you have to?
That's what it originally was, and Bill and Dawn felt that it may be obvious to me because I am a veteran saying Dangerous Nerds. They wanted to make sure the word military is in there for the military.
So why not just military nerds? Because Dangerous Military Nerds is kind of a mouth. It's like a lot, I don't know.
Don't care, because the thing is we're just like other nerds, only dangerous.
Exactly.
And that's why Dangerous is in it.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've already done the logo and done all the spots, and I'm not changing it for anybody now. That's more work.
Oh no, I'm not trying to get you to change nothing, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can eat shit. Fuck off.
I mean, I'll eat ass, but I won't eat shit. But
if you're the other.
That's the real reason he shaved the beard.
Chris Rock's story about tossed salad is one of the funniest ones in his stand-up routine. And they showed it in that movie, Me, Myself, and Irene. The kids are watching that. And Dad walks in like, what the hell are you watching?
So I can't stay too much longer, but I didn't want to be like a stranger.
I'm on a podcast. That's why. Sorry.
And but I wanted to just quickly Tuesday's show tomorrow, Gary. I think I mentioned it. I got to get you an image for the thumbnail, but we're going to be covering Lovecraft versus Guillermo del Toro, because he just released the At the Mountains of Madness, cutscene that he says is concept. And I've been watching a few episodes of his Cabinet of Curiosities, which I have all sorts of feelings about. So I just wanted to throw that out there before I.
Is that worth watching? The Cabinets of Curiosity. It keeps getting recommended.
Well, it's got serious TDS in the first episode, but I still enjoyed it.
What's TDS?
I'm not going to say the word.
It's
a certain president derangement syndrome that everybody loses their mind over and goes, Ree! If you mention their name.
It has got it. Well, again,
can you put it in the
covered-
private chat? Because I want to be in the loop if you don't want to say it out loud, but I'm confused.
I don't.
Okay, fine.
I'll put it in the private chat, but
I just did it.
Okay.
Oh, you did? Okay.
You're lying.
But yeah, we'll cover it tomorrow. It's something that people are praising a lot, but in my mind, it could be a lot better, and that's my general feeling about Guillermo del Toro these days.
I'll tell you, the visual effects were good on that first episode, and I liked the story.
Dude, have you guys seen the Tulsa King yet? The first episode that dropped?
No, I've got it queued up to watch because I'm a big Taylor Sheridan fan.
Cece and I watched it last night.
Don is here. Good morning, Don.
Christ.
The watcher of the F.
Good morning, all.
It was so good. It was so good. Like Stallone is just a gangster in that movie, in that show, man. He's just like
Stallone. See, I haven't heard
Yeah, the last time I saw him play a gangster was in that movie Oscar.
Dude, yeah, no, this is way
And I love that movie.
better. I actually like Oscar a lot too, but no, he's like
it's shot like an old movie and made to feel like it's a play.
yeah.
That's what's
Oscar
good
is.
about it.
Yeah. But
Hey,
no, I'm
also-
talking about Tulsa King is like he's just the pilot, and this is in the trailer. He's been in jail 25 years, and the episode opens with him getting out of jail, and he was, a made man. He didn't say nothing, so they give him Tulsa, Oklahoma to run, and it's hilarious. He just he just shows up and just starts running shit. It's great. It's so funny.
Also, congratulations to Stallone, along with your boy Zach and the Critical Drinker, for their new Indiegogo campaign for First Kill, which is a John Rambo prequel. Have you guys heard about that?
No,
Yes.
who's in it, and is Stallone involved?
Stallone is directly involved with Chuck Dixon and your boy Zach and the Critical Drinker.
The comic book. Yes. He shows him in Vietnam. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, gentlemen, I'm afraid I have to go, but I wanted to come in and show some love and, like I said, promote tomorrow's show, like my feelings on Guillermo del Toro, and I want him to be great, but I have some notes.
Hasta la vista, baby.
As Gary would say, I have problems with it.
I have
He always
notes,
has.
but they're constructive. I want him to do well. So, and I think we all do. I think there are things about Guillermo that we love. So,
Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of his, and I wished he had done the Universal Monsters because that would have been a good series of films. Not the crap we got.
Well, you can thank Tom Cruise for that.
Yeah, well, in a way, I almost want to thank
No.
Tom Cruise for that,
You
because
can thank Alex Kurtzman for that. He was the guy in charge of it all.
Okay, fair enough.
But this,
let's
this
not get
series
started
is
on
not
that
as good
one,
as it could be, and it's, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to take up today's show with tomorrow's subject, so I'm gonna get out of here. But thank you all again, and thank you for everybody in the chat. And as usual, my name is Christopher Moonlight, from broadcasting from my lunar base. Have a good one, you guys.
Everything's taped together there. I don't know how he survives.
Wait, no, you're confusing this.
He wants to
That's
science
me.
the shit out of this.
The taped together thing, that's me in my third world country.
Oh.
The power goes out because there's a thunderstorm.
Yeah, I can hardly wait till Croatia gets a rocket on the moon. It never happened.
All right, later, guys. Love you all.
See you, buddy.
Bye.
Chris, love you too, buddy.
See you, man.
Bye.
2
So,
days, Gary. 2 days and happening.
I know.
2 days.
I have to put a phone call in today to that
days.
gentleman back east about Bigfoot and remind him the show is this Wednesday morning.
That's the guy, up on Idaho?
Is he in Idaho? I thought it was East Coast for some reason.
Idaho.
Hey, does anybody know why She-Hulk is trending on Twitter right now?
No, I don't click on that because when you click on those, you actually are helping Twitter. And I won't do anything that helps Twitter, even if it's owned by Elon Musk. I'm so apprehensive of helping them.
I've
Their
actually been
algorithms.
really happy with, since he's taken it over, I've been seeing more like of the people I actually follow instead of cause I don't know, you know what I mean? Did you guys see a lot of stuff where you're like, why am I seeing this? I don't follow this stuff,
I got some guy named Bret Hart trending.
Oh, well, that's because he's the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Hold up, buddy. Right there. See?
Yep.
John.
Brett, the Hitman Hart. Yep, there you go, buddy.
He actually is trending, but that's why I brought it up.
So I'm going to be working on the static logo today, but I still want to find somebody, anybody out there that's watching right now. We need someone that can animate approximately 5 seconds of a wrestling ring, backlit, dark, not a lot of stuff going on, like a mist, and a logo smashing down on the ring called the Dork Side of the Ring.
Dark Side of the Ring on Vice TV, so.
He's not better than Ric Flair. Uh-oh. That's it. It's war.
Whoa. All right. Do I still have a wrench?
First shot's fired.
I'm putting this dude in timeout. First of all, Ric Flair can't hold a candle to Bret the Hitman Hart. All Ric Flair can do is run his mouth. And in his last match, he literally passed out thrice, like 3 times, passed out in the ring. That man doesn't know how to let go. He believes his own press. He thinks he's better than he is. I'm so tired of everybody talking about Ric Flair being the GOAT. Ric Flair ain't shit. He was in the 70s. He hasn't been relevant since like 82.
Everyone knows the greatest of all time is Gilbert.
Damn, you took that hook, line, and sinker, man.
yeah, I did.
Good morning, Stephanie. How are you doing?
100%. What? Oh, man. Jeebus, please let him be.
You know what? Jeebus and Bret Hart survived a concussion from that sloppy MFer that shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, Bill Goldberg, and he survived a stroke. So I don't want to hear it. And he came back and he wrestled after the stroke. So
now I'm going to say this.
Bill Goldberg is the worst.
I want to say something and be very clear about it. First of all, I didn't get to show this on Saturday. I meant to and never got time. Rest in peace, Gallagher. I made this graphic because if that's how he should have been put in the ground with the watermelon on top of the casket.
Well, it should be a splattered watermelon on the.
No, it can't be because he didn't do it.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay, yeah.
And now, even though as I got older, I'm like, I don't understand what people love about Gallagher. I remind myself of how affectionate I felt about the guy for years as a kid and going into my teens. Just freaking loved him when he would show up on the Carson show or whatever. And so,
Jeebus is really trolling me right now.
Yeah, he's trolling him. You need to stop reading his comments and let Martin handle that.
Yeah, I'm just like,
no.
Man,
I'm gonna still put
man.
No, I absolutely agree. Andre the Giant was a GOAT, as was Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper was the best on the mic ever. Like literally, like when it comes to mic skills and talking trash and like, yeah, I'll give that.
I have wanted because working with my friend Cody. He's made several.
Look at
films,
Joe spitting facts. Look at that.
Okay. As I was saying, Cody has made several films and Roddy was in one of them. And when he hired me for the first film with Roddy Piper, I didn't care if I got paid. I was working on a film that had Roddy Piper starring in it. And it's one of the happiest moments of my art career. Not the best paid, but one of the happiest moments. And I've always wanted to, and I talked to Cody because through Cody, the director, we have that connection with Roddy Piper's family. He's close with them.
Sax.
And I wanted to make a biopic about Roddy Piper because there's things about him a lot of people do not know. And we wanted to confront and deal with some of those, but in a very respectful way, to show the impact this had on him, because he had a secret life that a lot of people don't know about. Now, I'm not going to say what it was, but he had a very secret life, and he kept it secret to his death. So, only those that were closest to him knew.
Sorry, I'm going to be catty again, because that's what you called it the other day. Zax, I love you, man. I appreciate you taking my side on the Ric Flair Bret Hart thing. But I had to unfollow you on Twitter because you didn't follow me back. So, same with Pat. Anyway,
I don't really do that. I'm not sure why, because they don't always get alerts. Yeah. But it's really cool to go, hey, I'm following you. Why don't you follow me back? But
actually, I'm actually kidding. I still follow Zach. So
I hope so, because
I was just wanting to be catty, because that's what you
I
call
just find it funny
day.
when he does military shows and doesn't invite me. I'm like, really?
See, I won't. Once you guys start talking military, I'll dip out because I don't want any stolen valor. I'm just the first male in my family to not join the military. And we've talked about this before, and I don't watch the show.
Look, dude, nobody blames you. Nobody wants a pussy in the military. Look at that face.
All Danny wants to talk about
you
wrestling.
You are. Hold up, guys. You are what you eat. So
amen to that, brother. Amen to that.
I like Anna had to turn her camera off.
I guess that explains why Gary's a dick.
Dude, I got
damn, shots fired.
I got so stressed out because I
Kapow!
was without power. And then I finally get to join the show, and it's all about wrestling. So yeah, camera off.
By the way, Scott is a big wrestling fan, and he would definitely like to join you.
Hell yeah, man. No, I'm excited. What's great is how excited. I don't know if Joe's still in the chat, but Joe, you keep it coming. I was not complaining earlier. He sent me text for an hour straight after that meeting, and then we had another meeting. I am so stoked he's excited because and then Johnny Rock let me down. He never got back to me, so he might get left out. But
I got a few names to see if you guys recognize from the wrestling world. I grew up and broke my teeth on Bruno Sammartino.
Yep. Yes.
And then Jumpin' Johnny DeFazio.
I don't remember him.
I don't know that one.
Pittsburgh. Oh, he was good. And then the worst of the worst, Cowboy Bill Watts.
Yep. Oh,
I remember that name.
Yeah. Well, as somebody I grew up in North Carolina. That was Watts territory, man. But wasn't Bruno Sammartino? Wasn't he the longest reigning?
Yeah.
WWW.
And he was a vet. Yeah. He was a vet.
Yeah.
I cut my teeth on Bulldog Bob Brown and Harley Race.
Yeah, Zax. He was 1997. Bret Hart is chef's kiss. Oh my God. When the Canada versus America stuff. Oh my God. So good.
Anyway, didn't we have a show to talk about?
Talking about it, there is something I want to share with you, because someone who is really part of Pop Culture Minefield, though he's not on here very much, is my buddy filmmaker Jason Brazier. And he did the most amazing documentary that took him years to finish. And it's got a Facebook page. Here it is. I've met this gentleman and his family. In fact, my little micro refrigerator has this gentleman's daughter's flowers. She makes little flower stickers, paints them herself, and turns them into stickers. But this gentleman is a pro wrestler, and just disappeared from the pro circuit. And Jason found him right here in Springfield, Missouri. Yep, mute. I got to mute you, Joe. I'm sorry, buddy. Too loud. This gentleman was a pro wrestler, and he was called the Flying Greek. And he's still kicking in his 80s. He owns a local jewelry store here in Springfield, Missouri.
Most wrestlers
There's the poster for the movie that Jason did. And I'm telling you, my only problem, and Jason knows my beef with his trailer, was not enough focus on that relationship with his daughter. We wanted to know where that went. And Keith said the same thing. But he promised that was available through the podcasts that he did. It was like a documentary podcast that he did that went along with the movie. There's Jason. Y'all have seen him. He's been on the show quite a few times. Good friend of mine. We go back years. 20 years. 20 years we've been friends. And he talks about some of the guys that, he wrestled with. I mean, he was friends with Andre the Giant, man. Wrestled with Andre. Do you remember him at all, Don? Anybody from the old days watching classic wrestling?
No, I was trying.
I've never heard of this dude. You know,
you need to go check out that documentary. I highly recommend it. It is a very good film that talks about his career and what led him to leave wrestling. Was to help take care of his family. All he cared about was taking care of his family. But in the process, a daughter got left behind. And that's part of the story too. And I felt like the documentary, that's the only shortcoming I felt the documentary had, was that it really needed to expand on that child that was left behind.
Yeah.
And how he picked up the pieces with her when she was a young adult.
I'm not even going to acknowledge what Colonizer Jeebus said in the chat, because that's just, dude, why would you even put that up? Chris Benoit is a murderer, murdered his wife and his kid.
Oh shit, that's right.
And he was nowhere near as good as Brett, and Brett only has one.
Well, I will say this. Look, man,
so,
O.J. Simpson murdered his wife and another young man, and but that doesn't take away what he did while he was in the profession of football.
Fair enough. But Chris Benoit couldn't hold a candle to Bret Hart. I don't care what anybody says. Anyway,
here's the thing. Look, when I cried. I cried the day that I found out that wrestling isn't really happening, that these things are pre-planned. Sometimes.
So when was that moment for you? Was it when Vince McMahon actually came out and said?
I was about to explain. Hold on, Danny. Sorry, I muted you, but I was actually trying to get to a point. It was like the moment when Santa was proven to be fake and the Easter Bunny and all that shit. I was 8 years old. And my dad shit all over the fantasy I had of pro wrestling
by telling me Santa's the truth. Fake?
So the way I phrase it is this way: getting upset over who's better or worse in pro wrestling is getting upset over Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise being the better action star.
No, and here's why I can disagree with that. Because Joe and I were talking about this yesterday. Pro wrestling at its core is about storytelling. And
absolutely.
And Bret Hart, I don't care what anybody says, he's the best in-ring storyteller of all time. Like, he really, really is. And I mean, anyway, I didn't want to get on that. I was going to talk about something.
Right, it's Military Monday. Look,
well, it's Military Monday.
Oh, yeah.
I got to get back to work. I just wanted to let Don know. Thank you for mentioning Cowboy Bill Watts, because he ran the promotion I grew up on, Mid-South Wrestling.
Yes. In North Carolina.
And,
so, Joe,
I was a big fan of the Fabulous Freebirds, the Von Erichs. They were next door in Texas.
Dude, you seen the stuff for the Von Erich movie that's coming out?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Look, I got to get back to work. You guys have a good stream. Talk to you later.
Joe, before you go, Joe, I got to say thank you. I watched All In last night, and oh my God, you didn't tell me Stephen Amell was in it. That was like that whole. That show was amazing.
It's one of the best pay-per-views you'll ever watch.
Yeah,
and
no,
it's completely run by Cody and his crew. Yep.
It was great, man. Thank you. I'm so glad you turned me on to that.
Bye.
All right, bye, Joe.
Bye, Joe.
Bye, Joe.
All right, I got to get the show back on track. This is Military Monday. I want to welcome you guys. There are now 2 veterans on the show, so you've been warned.
Well, hey, on that note,
I didn't get to say good morning to some people. I need to say it. I want to say good morning. I want to say good morning to Peter Vinkman Fansite and Keto Simple. Thanks for being here. All right.
All I was going to say is you're getting in the military thing. I'm not a fan of Stolen Valor, so I'm going to dip out. I love you guys. I will see you.
Too, buddy.
I will see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye now.
Bye, Danny.
Arrivederci. So let's see. Starting off, we're back in the safe house in the episode. Do you have your notes?
Of course.
All right. So first thing
I
we
did
see
them last night because somebody was busy.
Yeah. Well, things are happening in the house, and Scott wanted us to get the hell out of here. It was like fumigation for men. So this is the first episode after Clay dies, and we know he's dead. He was shot center mass right in the heart.
I'm still so angry about how they killed him.
Well, look, I don't want to get into this. I want to get into the episode, but the fact is, it's dumb the way they did it. I understand they built up for a Chris Kyle moment where Chris Kyle was killed by a fellow veteran who had PTSD, and he was trying to help soldiers with PTSD. And he was working with this guy, and he was acting antsy all morning. There were texts between him and his best friend that was with him when it happened that, hey, man, this guy is acting weird, and then they get to the shooting range, and an incident happens, and the guy shoots and kills Chris Kyle, point blank. And
it should have been Ben.
They were
and
going
no accident.
I felt they were going to be going that direction, and that's what they should have done. Is that he wanted to self-inflict is what they should have done. He wanted to self-inflict, and Ray is there. Clay is there to stop him, wrestles the gun away from him, and is shot in the process. They shouldn't have involved the security guard because it makes the armed security guard look like a complete buffoon.
Yeah, also Clay, because he just stares at him.
Yeah, he looks like a deer in headlights. Like, this is a combat effective dude. It just, all of it just didn't ring true, and it annoyed me because I thought that was a shitty way to kill the character. That's like, why don't you just show him die of a heart attack on the toilet? If you're going to do that, if you're going to shit on him and make him look bad, that's why I make fun of people who say Elvis isn't really dead. I said, nobody fakes dying on the toilet. Nobody. Everybody's got a little pride.
No, it was Sebastian Half. Come on, Gerry. That's who died on the shitter.
Well, thank you very much. I think I got a poodly-doo.
Let's get into it, shall we?
Yeah, so like I said, this episode's the first one after Clay is murdered. And he is murdered. And they're back at the safe house. And I'm kind of annoyed by this opening because what I dislike in film or television is having a scene that takes place after a major scene, but we don't get to see the scene. Instead, we get to hear, oh man, that was amazing what we did. That was an awesome operation. We're Bravo's back, baby. We hear all of that.
What do you mean? We got to see how they got Coy and questioned him and got all the intel they needed?
Yeah, but not in this episode. And so it just feels weird opening a show like that. So all of that took place last episode, not this episode. So they come in and start talking about this operation. I thought it was a weird way of writing the scene. It just felt off doing it that way. Nobody wants to hear action described past tense unless it's like Robert Shaw on a boat. It's like it's Robert Shaw in the middle of an ocean hunting a shark and starts telling the story of the USS Indianapolis. Most people don't want to hear the after action report in a show.
Yeah, but I kind of like how they shit on Jason for being back, and we could have stayed a day or two more because we have to wait anyway. Because we learned it's 3 days until he travels, so they have to wait anyway. And apparently things were much nicer in Amman than in their headquarters in.
So let's
where are we at?
Let's break down what happens here in this scene.
Yeah, as you said, they talk about what they did, and we're back. And then Ray gets a call from Naima on his private phone. At the same time, Jason gets a call on the satellite phone from Command HQ, and they learn that Clay is dead. And then we see how they deal with it. Mostly anger.
Yeah,
Sonny goes into denial.
Yeah, Sonny goes into denial, but he also goes into a rage mode, which
he smashes all the beer bottles against the wall.
And that's where everybody started getting their calls. Ray gets a call, and Jason gets a call on the sat phone, and he gets the report. And
Jason's the one to tell the team, but
and of course the reason Clay is dead is because he was trying to help a fellow suffer PTSD at this PTSD center that Ray and his wife created.
Yeah,
they're
but
gonna
things are not clear at
feel-
this point. At this point, it looks like he was trying to break in, which makes no sense at
Yeah,
all.
they're making it sound like, yeah.
So they're trying
exactly.
to find out what exactly happened. So all Bravo team knows for now is he got caught in a weird situation and shot.
Yep, and that's how the opening scene ends. He goes into the opening title screen, and then we're back during the opening titles at the safe house, not a new location, and they're trying to unwind this information and discern what's really going on. And sadly, Sonny's just not handling it well.
No.
Sonny's handling it the typical Sonny way, with anger and rage.
And denials. They got the wrong guy.
Yep, it's not him. He keeps trying to call Clay,
Yeah.
and he keeps going to voicemail. And the more it does that, the more upset he's getting, because reality is seeping in. And I like Ray, man. He's a cool character right here. Although I felt like he and Sonny both kind of effed up this season. And it's not the actor's fault, it's the writer's fault. Being on Omar's side when Omar was doing things that were completely inappropriate.
But Omar becomes more and more likable.
Well, once we got
He fully takes on the role of
transitional
Bravo
scene.
2, especially in this episode. And I kind of start to like him.
I
know
still don't
I know
trust
you
him.
don't trust him. Yeah, I know
I still
Gerry
don't-
doesn't trust him.
don't trust them either, because they're still concerned over how they're knowing some of this information. They're told that the person they took down is not the target, is not the person doing it. So I'm worried that Omar is the person doing it, and he's going to become a villain by the end of the season. That's
Which is next
just my
episode.
thoughts. Yep. Yeah, 10th episode, is that the final? Yep. Okay. And this, of course, he bashes his face. He's punching himself in the face out of anger. Not doing it with his fist, but doing it with his hands, just like banging his face, because he's so frustrated and blood dripping on the floor.
I thought the blood was from his hands because he's digging his fingernails in.
No, I thought it was because he just bashed himself in the face.
But you don't see anything on his face after that, do you?
Blood drips from the nose.
The nose.
It either pours or it drips. So
Jason is trying to
Billy-
call Mandy, which is only voicemail, of course. Because, yeah.
I like this scene because they're at a neat location for this scene. I don't know where they shot this, but this is really cool, the location. It feels like they are in the Middle East somewhere.
Yeah, because the houses have these
That or North
rooftop
Africa.
terraces because that's where the people sleep because of the heat.
Yep.
They sleep on the roof. Yeah, they're looking at pictures and
And actually, both those characters are now dead.
yeah.
But yeah, now we cut back to Lisa.
They don't really show Omar, but he must feel left out because he never got to work with Clay. He joined
Yeah.
the team after Clay had to leave.
Well, he knows Clay, though.
Yeah, he knows him, yeah, but he never worked with him.
Right.
So he doesn't have this brother feeling that the others have. But
Well, now we're on the scene in Lisa's office.
and Eric comes in and tells her the news, and she's devastated. And she immediately says, "This is going to break Sonny."
Yeah, they both know it. And of course, she loves and is in love with Sonny. They just
Yeah.
can't have the relationship while she's in command. When she's in this job, they're not allowed to have a relationship.
She calls him, and he completely goes asshole on her.
3 times now he's done that with her,
Yeah.
putting all the blame and all the guilt on her.
I mean, in that moment, he kind of has to vent, but she doesn't deserve that.
But I do like that she turns it proactive during the conversation by putting the focus on other people, and that this involves Ray and his wife and the impact it's going to have on him, because that's who he is with someone that he met through them. So that redirects him, how they're taking it, how they're going to be dealing with this. And you notice a shift in his attitude when they start talking about other people, and he stops
Yeah.
yelling at her and raging at her. And then he's left there with his thoughts in the safe house. I love this set. It's a cool location.
It's
Even though I know
really
it's
great, yeah.
the studio. I'm sure it's a studio. And she's got him redirecting, and he's breaking her heart by saying mean things to her. But she does a great
I think Lisa
job of redirecting.
The actress who plays Lisa's done really well this season.
Yeah, her character's gotten a lot of growth this season.
Yeah.
And
oh yes.
And of course, cut back to the roof again. And at first I thought this might be CG, but I'm like, no, that's a real location.
I think that is a real location, yeah. And it looks great.
At first I thought, oh, did they do what was that movie with Tommy Wiseau or whatever his name is, where they blue screen the whole roof scene? And then
The Room.
Yeah.
Oh
The Room.
damn! I wanted to find out where they shot, especially this episode, but I forgot.
Yeah, I'm assuming that this is either North Africa or in one of the Middle East friendly countries. That's part of that new movement of being friendly to Israel and America.
Yeah.
Which we're starting to see a little more of right now, and I like that.
Well, I'll tell you what. That location could easily be down here in Mexico.
It very well could be Mexico, because I used to laugh when I would be in Phoenix. And I go, there are spots in Phoenix that I swear to God, I felt like I was back in Saudi Arabia. Just like
Martin,
the Adobe.
You okay? You okay?
I was, until you remind me of that. How's your day,
And
Don?
so,
Hey,
let's
okay.
describe. Okay. Yeah, we talked about that before the show, Don. That he, the way you and I called him on that. And he actually started to spell it Jew when he was going to text it. And he
For
goes, wait a
real.
minute.
It's not a joke.
Yeah, hey,
He caught himself before he did it.
You're roboting again. Really starting.
You're roboting. You're roboting worse.
That's because he's sharing screen, John.
Your face.
It's not my. This is a $200 microphone. It's my computer that's having a problem. Is it cleared up yet?
No.
Yeah, I would like for you to let me do a remote session on your computer to make some diagnostics. I have maybe one or two
You
ideas.
can do that. Is
Be
it better
careful,
now?
He's going to steal your.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great. Sounds great.
All right. So describe the scene, hon.
Jason and Ray, and both of them blame themselves for what's happened. There's a lot of blame game in this
Yeah,
episode.
everybody's finding a reason. Yep, everybody's finding a reason.
Yeah.
It's their fault. Sonny doesn't think he's been there, being deployed. Everything's messed up. So he's blaming everybody and himself for what happened to him. Ray and Jason are more internalized people, so they're blaming themselves. And I like that about those characters.
Yeah, but everybody is feeling guilty in this episode. It's
Yep.
yeah. Omar interrupts. There's a call from command. Ray goes to take it, and Jason and Omar discuss: Are we ready to go into action? Omar suggests we can all get ill and get ill, quote unquote, and ask to be transported home. And Jason is not going to take that decision on his own, so he wants the team as a whole to decide. Are we moving on Rajavi, or do we sit this one out? Because everybody's mind is on Clay now, and that's dangerous. What?
What was just said about, don't do it, Martin. You might find his stash of porn.
You're roboting again.
Better?
No.
You okay, Gary? You okay?
Is that better?
Yes. And it's going to be for like 2 minutes, and then it goes back. I'm used to it.
Omar joins him on the roof.
There we go. Yeah, he joins them to tell that command is on the satellite phone. And it's apparently Ray is always the one in contact with the headquarters, with Eric mostly. So, yeah, we've been through it. I summed up the scene.
End of scene. Now
Yes.
we're back at the PTSD.
Yeah, Lisa
rehab
goes to the Veteran Center to visit Naima and talk about what happened to Clay, and more blame game happening because Lisa has had a feeling about the mission where Clay lost his leg, but she didn't speak up. And Naima is like, he was with one of my clients when that happened. So everybody is blaming themselves.
Yeah, and then
Stella,
then their concern directs towards Clay's wife, and Clay's wife.
Because they both haven't
popped
seen
in.
Stella yet, and at that moment she comes in.
Yep.
So
this is,
tears.
This is, I got to say that this episode and the season behaved more like the unit than it has like SEAL Team, because they were, for a long time they don't spend a lot of time on the drama with the wives and the women. This episode in particular did. And I don't mind it. But this is...
They had to. They had to.
This is a problem with the unit, is they focus on it too much. Don't do it all the time. Focus on operations, tactical, and then an action scene. And this show tends to get that right.
Yeah, so
And
Stella
so anything else to add to this?
Stella doesn't blame anyone. She is grateful for the vet center because it gave Clay a new perspective and something to do. I think her words are, "It gave me back my husband."
For 1 week.
Yeah. True that. But yeah, she doesn't blame Lisa or Naima for anything. She just needs the support, and she gets it.
Yep.
So we're back to Bravo team, and they talk about are we doing this or not, and basically decide, no, let's sit this one out. We're also focused on Clay. We want to go home. We want to be there for the funeral. So they put in the request to be sent home. Family first. Oh, really sucks.
It sags. It took too long.
All about... Yeah. Here you go. Here's your video.
Strong. I'm gonna go check the back door. Back door.
So continue.
Next scene. Or is there anything more to say about that?
Are we already done with this scene? Okay.
Jason just lets the team decide, are we taking this or not? And they all agree, family first, let's go home, be there for Clay's wife and son. Because that's what he asked them to. If anything happens to me, be there for them. So they're taking this seriously and put in the request to be sent home. And in the next scene, we see Eric and Lisa discussing the request to come home, which Eric understands, but the situation is such that the cover-up story about Koi not making it to Shanghai because they intercepted him is only going to hold up for a couple of days. And then Rajavi will figure out that they are onto him and will probably stay in Tehran where they can't touch him. So there's no time to send in another team.
Gotcha. I'm sorry. I'm reading what Bill Barkley said.
Don't. We just got rid of Danny, and now
I'm sorry, hon. I want to respond to it because it's a good question. We've got a plan for what we're going to be doing after the show ends, because we're going to focus on other military shows and movies as well. So military money will always be a focus on the military.
We can start doing MASH episode by episode.
That'll be a cold day in hell.
Oh my, Debo, have a good day.
Bye.
Thank you.
Oh, D-Bud's leaving. See you, buddy.
Yeah.
Take care. Thanks for dropping in, man. So now we have another scene between Eric and Lisa.
I just summed it up.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
So I'll just fast forward quietly.
Yeah, I don't think there's more to say. They both understand why Bravo wants to go home, but there's no time to send in another team before the cover story will blow up. And once Rajavi stays in Tehran or any other location where they can't touch him, they need to follow through. They need to do this.
Hey, that's a cool character, Jeebus. The little tiny guy singing in my video from.
It's your favorite character.
Yeah.
You still don't remember the name.
Damn it.
I don't remember names. Zach gets the
Scanlan.
cool backdoor video.
I'm bad with names
Scanlan.
too, but yeah, Scanlan.
Scanlan's short.
He is my favorite character.
Short haul.
He's my favorite character on the show. So anyway, we're back at the safe house.
Yep. Sonny is really focused on Clay and the funeral and being there for Stella, and he just wants to go home. He's even prepared to book commercial flight tickets for the team.
Well, you see, they've already packed some of their bags already.
Yeah. But the request gets denied. They have to go for Rajavi. So, yeah, Ray is briefing them on the intel they have that Rajavi is to meet the commander of Al-Hasht, I think is the name of that militia, in the market in Mosul. So in broad daylight, in militia-controlled territory, and there's also an undisclosed drone base close by. So kind of tricky. So they're trying to figure out, how do we do that? We have 2 targets. We have to take them down simultaneously. And it's best done by drone strike. So they ask headquarters to let the drones do the heavy lifting, and they finish the job, basically. And they split up. Omar, Sonny, and Brock are to watch the drone fields, and Jason, Trent, and Ray will go up for General Rajavi. And Sonny disappears during this scene and then turns up with a bottle of liquor to toast Sonny, to toast Clay.
And with glasses, yep.
Yeah,
and that moment.
They also tell Omar, you don't have to, because he's Muslim, but he's like, no, I'm part of the team, I'm doing this. So they all drink to Clay.
And now we cut to the briefing scene that's already happened. And Lisa is distant.
Yeah, Lisa is kind of overwhelmed because everybody is focused on her because she connected the dots that Rajavi is behind the Clemson attack. And it's basically thanks to her that they are about to derail Iran's ambitions in the Middle East. And she doesn't really feel comfortable about it because, yes, she is like pulling the strings in the background, but the team that's actually doing it is Bravo team. And she tries to kind of get the focus on them, but the focus is all on her, and she's not really comfortable about that.
And of course, they want to celebrate, and an operation well done. And
not yet. Not yet.
She doesn't feel very comfortable. That isn't the scene? Oh, okay.
No. They just congratulate her on getting things in that direction, but the operation hasn't happened yet.
All right, so we're back in the vehicle on the move.
Yeah. Bravo is on the way, and Eric calls in to tell them that the airstrike has been cancelled. So no drones. So they need a plan B. And they're pissed about it.
Yeah, in fact, that's where he uses the word ganked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got tickled by that. I'm like, he just said ganked. Because hardly anybody ever uses that word. I use it all the time.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so used to it. Because I hear it all the time from you.
Because operation's been ganked. And then we got back to the
A lot of F-bombs dropped.
Armchair
in that
Warrior.
episode, by the
Now
way.
we have the Armchair Warrior scene where we have a bunch of guys.
Yeah, tactics
talking about-
meeting. Because they discuss, okay, so we have no drones, no airstrike, but it's the last shot at Rajavi, and Lisa's kind of apprehensive because Bravo is not prepared for a kinetic op.
Yeah. So Bravo stops to.
It's basically
ponder the situation.
their only chance. So Lisa gets asked, "What's your opinion?" And she says, "If anyone can pull it off, it's Bravo."
So Bravo team is in the middle of the desert. I like that little Bedouin-looking tents with the sheep or goats, whatever the hell those are.
I don't know.
That's how I opened my book, Code Word Geronimo, is focused on sheep and the herder and just watching the scene unfold.
I haven't read that one yet.
My book, Code Word Geronimo. Yeah, well, you need to. It's good.
Yeah, I have it. I just haven't read it yet. I told you I take a long time reading your comics because I look at the pictures. I don't browse through them.
Yeah, that annoys me when people do that. Just flip through a book. Every page took me 14 to 15 hours to do. And they just like, flip. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, and one,
Try stop and look at it.
Yeah, one, I know that, and two, I know you pay so much attention to little details, so I go look for them. So yeah.
Yeah, that's why Dale likes working with me, because I do focus on details.
Yeah.
But this is a good scene where they've got to make a decision on what they're going to do.
Yeah, they decide to. So Omar and Sonny are on the aerial assets, like they have to take out the drones. But if they do so, Rajavi will be noticed. So they have to strike simultaneously. Like while the rest of the team takes down Rajavi, those two are going to take down the drones. So they have to get in place, basically figure out how to do it, and then wait until Jason tells them now. So they take down the drones and Rajavi simultaneously.
Yeah, it's
because
all about timing.
Yeah, otherwise one action will fuck the other one up. And that's the last shot at Rajavi.
I love the fact that their vehicles are just covered in fucking sand. Too often you'll see
it's realistic.
movies where they don't pay attention to that, and it's like, dude, have you ever driven out there?
Not just movies. Halo.
I always remember this too, the taste. That gritty taste I would have in my mouth. Being out in the desert. So back at the op center in the meeting.
Small conversation between Stevens and Lisa. Lisa is nervous, of course, because she put Bravo in danger again. And Stevens reminds her that's leadership. You have to take decisions, and they're not always comfortable.
Yeah, it's a tough thing about being a leader, is knowing that what you're ordering may cost somebody their life.
Yeah. And in the previous scene, Lisa tells Stevens that she feels outranked, and Stevens tells her, you go on like that, you won't feel outranked for long. So she's about to be promoted, I guess, and needs to find her way into.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're obviously grooming her for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, at first it came off that what's her name was maybe going to try to get her to do things and then take credit for it. But it's now come off that she's clearly getting support from some of her fellow officers, senior officers.
Yes, she is, but she's uncomfortable making decisions like that.
Yeah, and I'm curious what that's going to lead to. Is she going to step away from command or keep going? You know, it's hard to tell.
I feel like she's not cut out to be brass, to be part of brass.
Is she, you know,
armchair warriors, as they're called. She's not really cut out for that.
Warriors. She, I will say though, of all the characters, we know she's been in combat.
Yes, yeah. They call Bravo her former team, so.
They went over there and ran a talk from a location, and it got overrun. And she and Eric were fighting for their lives to get out of there, waiting for Bravo to show up and help. Because they were all in a matter of egress to get the hell out of there when they got overrun.
We have a super sticker from Darius Munchausen.
There's Munchausen, the Munchausen that is safest for children. Darius gave us a $4 sticker. Does anybody know what it is? I'm
It's
assuming
the bird with the coffee.
bird with the coffee. Yep.
Always that one.
Thank you, Darius. Thank you so much, buddy. Deeply appreciate your support. Everybody's support. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, Darius. Let me find a video for you. Let's see. What shall I play for him? Oh, boop, boop, boop. Well, because of the time, I'm going to play this one.
Good evening and welcome to the middle of the film.
There you go. Thank you, Darius. And so, did you finish talking about this scene?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So now we cut back to them and their rigs moving towards the target, and they've split up.
Yes, so Omar's with Sonny now, and they move to the drone base and find 3 UAVs, 3 drones, and also a fuel truck, and that gives them ideas. As Sonny says, he's in a mood to light everything up anyway. So they have their plan laid out. They tell Jason, and Jason is like, "Yeah, okay, wait for my go."
And they spent some money on this episode.
I like Sonny's attitude.
Building
He's so
those,
pissed.
building those full-size drones.
Oh yeah.
Because they're as big as a small fighter. A lot of people think those drones are like little tiny guys. No, they're big.
But we've seen that. We've seen that when they get attacked by the drone. We saw that it's not small. Because at first I thought that was a fighter jet coming in, but it was a drone.
And now we cut to Jason at the airfield.
Yeah, Jason and the rest of the team follow Rajavi from the airport. They spot him getting off the plane, and there's up-armored trucks coming for him. So it's not going to be a vehicle interception. They need to get him on foot. So they follow him to that market.
Yeah, but we're not
And on the way,
we're not there yet. We're now back at Sonny and Omar cutting the fence and breaking in.
cutting the fence, breaking in, and then just waiting for Jason's command. Not much happening there.
Yeah, once they get the order from him, then they can do what they need to do. Now we're heading towards the market.
Yes, now we're heading towards the market, and they spot militia checkpoints, so there's no driving out after they black again. So the radio command and tell them we will not be able to drive out here once we have Rajavi down. We need a plan B for evacuation. So Eric is working on that.
And
now.
I find it interesting because I had to do a lot of research for my script for City of Fire, which was the story of the incident, the Tet Offensive of the Iraq War, where for the first time in the history of the war in Iraq, the insurgents directed their ire on the citizens of Iraq. And they set off 2 car bombs on a city street and near a police station, mosque, and other locations. Mosul was the primary one that was hit. Military went in lockdown. The only unit that went out that day was the 72nd Stryker Brigade. And this is very similar to that street. But if you'll notice, there's a Popeyes right there. I don't know if they meant for that to be noticed, but that's a Popeyes restaurant. I thought that was funny. So they're following him. I loved it, the Han Solo Chewbacca moment where he says, "Need you to stay back 2 car lengths." Rather that, and he's like, "Yeah, and don't look like you're trying to follow." Right, drive casual. Got it. Because Han Solo suggested flying casual.
You're cutting out badly.
That's great. That's great.
Yes. It's not just roboting. It's like half of what you say is missing.
I'm going to stop talking.
I know.
So if somebody else wants to talk about what's going on here.
Gerry, you
Anima?
could stop talking, you know.
I just said that. I'm going to
Anima,
stop
shit.
Take
talking
it
if my
from
mic's
here,
breaking up,
Anima.
but somebody needs to take it up if I'm not talking.
Yeah, so go on. I covered what's happening in the car.
Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
Heading to the
I
checkpoint.
can only go so fast.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just Eric receiving the call that they can't drive out, so they need another option. So he's trying to organize that for them. Next thing I have is Jason, Trent, and Brock on the market to find Rajavi.
Oh, that's
Drones.
playing Omar at the base.
Yeah,
Quick
but
drone,
they are just waiting. They are just waiting for the command to go. They have their plan and Puerto Rico. Huh. Yeah, so Ray is to stay with the convoy, and the other three, Jason, Trent, and Brock, go to the market to find Rajavi. They split up and try to find him.
I can't help myself. I still see Angel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
right. And apparently he's interested in reviving that show.
That role was what made it big, right?
Yeah.
Angel. So
Also
no
see
wonder.
Bones. Or
Yeah.
I think Angel.
Seeley Booth.
This is where shit hits the fan because Omar and brain fat Sonny, they spot for securities or whatever for tangos. So they have been spotted. They need to act now. And Jason gives his okay. So they kill the securities and proceed to torch the drones.
Yeah, this is where they go after the security guys.
They have to. They have to because they've been burned. They know they're there.
And if nobody noticed, I just saw that there is somebody, or at least dummies up in the tower.
Yep.
And of course, shit's going down in the market too at the same time.
Yeah,
so
because the moment
after they kill the guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they kill the security guys and take the gas truck, pull it next to it, and start coating everything with gasoline.
Yeah.
What Sonny would have also done in real operation is see these air intake valves.
Yeah.
He would have poured gasoline inside because gas on top will just burn the exterior, not guaranteed to make it explode and destroy it. So you would want gasoline
They do blow
inside.
up though.
Yeah, well, that's because the pyrotechs did their job.
Yeah.
So in real life, they would have flooded the interior of these drones to guarantee destruction. Make sure they're completely.
They could pop a frag in it, Gerry.
They could do that too, but he actually uses a different. I think he uses C4.
C4 will work.
Yeah, because he puts C4 on this drone on the right, and with either a timed or phone detonated.
I think he puts it on the missile on the rack, doesn't he?
I'm not sure. Let's watch this because I'm not sure if that's what he does. Yeah, he does. That's a missile. So, he lays it on the missile rack. And back to the market.
Yeah, back to the market. They have spotted him, Rajavi. He's in this meeting with the commander, and all of a sudden, someone tells him something, and he gets up very angry. So we know he found out about the drones, that they have been taken down. So they need to act, and they start shooting. at the securities, and they get to securities, but they don't get Rajavi.
Because this is where the drones blow up.
Yeah.
Sunny and Omar do their job, destroying the drones, and
but
things get
Rajavi
heated.
immediately finds out, of course.
And it leads to
they didn't take the two guys out in the tower, so of course he got found out.
I always thought that was silly that you could see those. I'm like, do they
Well,
not notice there's guys in the tower?
Somebody is in the tower. Yeah. But anyway, big shootout scene. All the securities are dead, but Rajavi managed to get away, and he's on the run on foot. So they go after
And
him.
it's a pretty cool shootout out in the middle of the market.
Yeah, it is. Because at this point, they are like, fuck it, we need to have this guy dead.
Yeah, they're like, if we, he's just going to pop up again if we let him go.
It's almost a suicide mission at this point. They know they're not
Because
going
they're
to drive
completely
out.
surrounded.
Yeah.
They're completely surrounded by enemy everywhere. They can't trust anybody, and they even bring it up when they're chasing the guy that he's got a lot more friends than we do here that could hide him.
Also, it's 6 guns against 3.
Yeah.
The only
Yeah,
advantage
but my money is always on.
They don't know. They don't know that they are coming. That's why
My
they
money
get to take the security
is
stand.
always on specially trained military, even if they're out in number. My money is still on them because we've shown time and time again that a small number of American special forces can do more damage than almost an army because they're
They really do,
specializing what they're doing. And so the chase ends up going into the streets and buildings. And it's kind of fun to watch this because Jason and he are
it's
like
a pretty cool
trying
chase,
to find him.
yeah.
They're trying to find him. It's a cat and mouse thing, and they're trying to figure out. So they keep going to high ground to see if they can spot him.
Yeah, Brock is positioned on a rooftop to watch over, and he spots him and points Jason in his direction.
Well, this is the moment when Jason says he's got a lot more friends here than we do. A lot of people that might hide him. But boom, he pops out running.
We get this really cool aerial shot of the city. I really like that one. Like when the camera goes
And I was talking
upward,
about
you
this.
see all the houses.
Don, are you there, buddy?
Yeah.
I was explaining to Anima what you see here in their pistol handling when they're walking. I refer to that, of course, as the low ready. Even with the handgun, you have what's called a low ready. That means aim downward, but you're prepared.
Right.
To raise the weapon at any moment. And one of the things we were taught, and I'm sure you learn the exact same thing, which is the best control you have with a firearm is having it incumbent closer to the body. The closer it is to your body, the least amount of movement of having
And
no fire.
I would automatically, when I was in that position, go into a Weaver stance. A lot of people don't realize the accuracy that you can achieve. Hell, I have hit right in and around targets at 100 yards with a 45 auto. Of course, it took a lot of practice, and a 45 is not known for that long range accuracy. But with a Weaver stance and using Kentucky windage and the swag method, I could do it. You're familiar with the swag method, right?
Yeah.
Scientific wild ass guess.
Yeah. I'm also familiar with Kentucky windage from hunting, for years of hunting. But I will point out that the Weaver stance is what you typically see, like with a police officer, when you see them with the feet slightly distanced from each other, one in front of the other, slightly apart, and your weapon, you're leaning into the weapon. We were taught to lean into the weapon for less recoil, but when it came to firing from that stance, I tended to use the method that I was taught of, once again, incumbent firing. Shooting from right here instead of out here, bringing it in here, because it also lessens the recoil, keeping the weapon incumbent. And you'll see a lot of that on this show. They do that a lot. Like right here, he's using that incumbent method to even be in the low ready position for firing.
Well, I don't know about when you went in, Gerry, but when we trained with the 1911, the Army in those days had everybody shooting with a single hand, your primary hand.
Yeah, they didn't make us do that.
Without the assist, and that never made sense to me because
terrible. Nobody shoots that way.
That 1911 weighed almost 3 pounds, 2.5 pounds, and you're trying to shoot at something at 25 meters, and it's just swaying back and forth. It was bullshit.
Yeah, it's not effective. No, when we had to do we in basic and AIT, they don't do that. Pistol is not important. All you qualify with is grenade and rifle, and then when you get to permanent party, eventually you are offered the chance, and it's not mandatory to get pistol qualification. And but I still did it because I was a combat medic, and my primary weapon for quite a while was my sidearm. And I got qualified on it, and I made expert on everything. I was funny about not being able to shoot. I'm like, as a medic, I need to prove I can shoot. But I like this scene. It's a good foot chase scene. It's a typical thriller, and of course, right here you can see it. Let me drop us to the side here for a second so you can see this better. That's when they look down at Sam, and then they start the foot race chasing him. And it's a really good. I hate calling it an action scene, but it is kind of an action scene. It's more suspenseful than it is. Yep. And
Jason gets
Sonny. I mean, Jason goes high. The other guy goes low, trying to track him, and they actually find him right here at this wall. And one of the shootouts starts here, and then we get this scene here where I think that's the Ranger tech dude for the show is having his shootout with him.
Trent, yeah.
And I keep clicking. Come on, go. You can go now. Yeah, am I losing internet? What the hell? They have cheap computers at Walmart. I'll probably get one to edit videos on because it's a pain in the ass on my phone. Yeah,
Check out Tiger Direct now.
Tiger Direct, yeah. Gerry, make expert backdoor infiltration. All right, you broken the back door. Let's see.
Like, wouldn't you know that back door would trigger a trap door? Yeah.
There you go. So the shootout continues, and they eventually corner him. And
Jason gets him in the end, yeah.
Yeah, Jason runs up on the rooftop, spots him on another rooftop, and just nails him at about 50 yards with his pistol.
Yeah.
And Omar runs up to him and or not Omar.
No, not
this
Omar.
dude
Trent.
Does
yeah,
this
he confirms.
gesture to him. Yeah.
And then
he's Geronimo. He's dead.
Yeah. They notify the other two, and Ray and everybody's like, "Yeah, woohoo, we got him!" So mission complete.
And then we go.
Then we go to command where Lisa is being congratulated and not really cool with it because she wants to wait for word on the exfil of Bravo because they are not out of the danger zone yet.
But they make it clear to her, you are now in command center. And
our job is done.
Our job is done.
Yeah.
You need to let go. And
yeah.
And this is something she has trouble with, letting go, because she cares about Bravo. And it's now somebody else's responsibility to take control of the exfil.
And she's not comfortable with that.
Clearly not comfortable, but she grabs a glass to celebrate mission accomplished.
Yeah.
And here we see where they've got the glasses. And it's twice in one episode we see people lifting a glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get 2 moments to get that with the team celebrating Clay
Yeah.
in his memory. And then that scene celebrating that Bravo did their job. I like the use of putting the Ayatollah on the wall.
So this is Bravo on the way to the exfil site, and they realize they're being followed.
This again makes me think that Omar's the bad guy.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Because every time they turn around, something like this happens. He notices that they're being followed again. The vehicle took 2 turns with them. 2 turns, it's likely you're being followed. It's the third one that confirms you're being followed. And so during the scene, they take the 3rd turn. We're being followed. They're honest. We need to do something. And eventually, as they're trying to make a move, big old dump truck comes out of nowhere and plows in the side of one of the Bravo vehicles.
And then she took me all over Cable Canyon.
Bravo vehicle. I think Jason's in that one, so it's Bravo 1 vehicle.
Yeah, it's Bravo 1 vehicle.
Gets
and we get
nailed
another
by this
shootout.
Yep, a shootout with these guys.
Because they need to get to the second vehicle to get away from there.
They got to get to the exfil.
Yeah, but in order to do so, they need to get from the damaged vehicle to the other one because they are with 2 cars.
Yeah, so everybody has to get out of that main vehicle and come back, and so they're all in one vehicle now, trying to make it. And they clear this section. They kill all those guys and begin moving. I swear to God, that does not look like Puerto Rico. That looks like the Middle East.
Yeah. It's neat to see how they give each other cover to get to the other vehicle.
Got to be honest, this road in the background looks like the same road they used in Black Hawk Down for the final run.
Yeah.
As they're escaping the stadium. That really reminds me, and I'm wondering if it's the same location.
Maybe.
Which is, there's a very, very friendly country, and I can't think of the name right now. For Danny Thomas was from Lebanon, the Lebanese. So they're trying to escape and get to the exfil.
They reach the exfil point. The helo is coming in and is shot.
There it is. And I got to tell you, I love this. That none of this is CG with the helicopter.
Yes.
That is a real helicopter all the way through the scene. The CG is used over it, which I like.
Yeah.
And it gets hit by that rooftop. A rocket is fired. I don't know if it's an RPG or a guided. It's a good hit, man. It hits it right in the tail section.
Yeah.
And so they watch as this thing goes down.
Yeah.
And it crashes, and there's just like this moment of, okay, we're on our own.
Yeah. Sorry, I did it again.
And there's a bit of explosion in the background, so I think they're trying to let us know the crew didn't make it.
Yeah. And also the enemy is coming for them. They know they are here. And that's where we end.
And they know where they're at.
Yeah.
Everything. And that's why I don't trust Omar. Because someone's leaking information.
I haven't trusted Omar through the whole series.
For them to find them.
It's a major cliffhanger.
So, if neither of both you trust Omar, I think this is on point.
I'm not sure. I think he's finally getting somewhat likable, and I don't know if he's a double agent.
Hey,
I just don't trust him.
I think it might be somebody completely unexpected who is leaking information.
Look what
he's too obvious.
You think they could go this route? That the crew, the helo crew is alive, and they're gonna make a Black Hawk Down thing.
I don't
with
think
that
no, I don't
explosion,
think so.
I don't think
that
they got the hero
explosion.
down. Yeah, that was the
Yeah, I think that was telling us they didn't make it. If there was no explosion, yeah, but there was a bright and
it looked
loud
like they were
explosion.
able to land it, but then that explosion happened, and it's like, yeah, that's the helicopter blowing up.
I like the way Anima
So-
says, yeah.
No, well, she mixes
Don't
the word
you
yeah with,
start as well.
and then she adds one of her Viennese that she does, those little guttural noises that she
Stop
makes that I
making
love so
fun
much.
of my accent.
I
Mrs.
love
not
your
fun.
noises.
Take the
I
compliment.
love your noises. I do. I love those noises, but it's so Germanic.
Taking my noises off camera.
It was a great episode. I really enjoyed it.
It started
thought-
a bit slow, but yeah, that was needed, I guess, to show the impact that Clay's death has on every one of them.
Yeah, and so I don't know where we're going to go in the final episode. We ended last season with the ambush scene. Are they going to try to double down and do the Black Hawk thing with them being trapped? Not with the helicopter crew.
Do you think they're going to wrap up the whole thing in the final episode?
I don't know. I'm hoping we get another season.
Me too. I really hope so.
I think there's still some unresolved stuff. I think it was a mistake on Max Thoreau's part to leave the series.
Oh, absolutely, because the new one is crap.
Oh, that
Really
fire
bad.
show that he does.
Yeah.
Dumb. Badly written.
So bad.
Really badly written. He's the only interesting character in the entire show that's written well.
Yeah, he has dumb dialogue too, though. I mean,
Let's see. So, SEAL Team finale is next week, I guess. So this is going to be interesting how we're going to end this season.
yeah.
Yep.
What are we going to talk about next? I've already been working on some ideas.
Band of
which
Brother, man. Band of Brother, please.
I would like to go over some great classic military films and shows. Because there are some great war. Steel Helmet. Don and I were talking about that movie the other day. Great film. One of the main characters is a combat medic.
I haven't seen that one.
Played by a black actor in the 1950s. He was a major character. He wasn't your typical, Hollywood. Because Hollywood likes to act like they're not racist. They're racist as hell. Hollywood is so racist. It still is. It only does these things for money. It could care less about racial points. It really can't. Tulsa King Stallone. No, we were talking about that before. I've got it lined up to watch because Taylor Sheridan is one of my favorite writers in Hollywood. I consider him the best. I'm not going to say best screenwriter for film, but he is the best screenwriter for television. And I love everything he's put out on television. It's just amazing stuff. But Steel Helmet is a great film. It's one of those films I would like to do an entire episode about, or at least half an episode.
It would be nice to do some movies before we go into the next series.
Well, I would also like to talk about the Big Red One, the director's cut. Oh, did we lose Don? We lost Don.
Yeah.
He's not connected.
Sorry, I lost connection for a second. My internet hiccuped.
Oh, that's okay. It happens to everybody. I'm looking forward to talking about movies like that. I want to talk about Platoon. I'm going to shit on it a little bit, but I'm going to also praise it a lot for what it did. Well, I shit on the fact that Oliver Stone's he's a cunt. I don't like him. He's a commie piece of shit. Democratic socialist. That means you're a communist. Okay. He's a democratic socialist. Shut up, fucker. He supports he and what is that guy's name? He's a great actor. He was in all the Usual Suspects. Benicio del Toro.
Yeah.
He is absolutely left-wing communist, soft communist, hard socialist. He supports Che Guevara. And Che Guevara was a murderer of women and children. He really was. That's
taking political advice from an actor is like taking medical advice from the Maytag repairman.
Yeah. I refer to actors as glorified monkey grinder. I mean, organ grinder monkeys. They're
Can you hear me,
performers,
Gerry?
and that's it. No, I didn't.
Am I coming through?
Yeah.
Now you are. Yeah.
Phrasing.
Before I lost contact here, I asked you, are you familiar with the 1948-49 war movie Battleground about the Battle of Bastogne?
Yeah.
Van Johnson, John Hodiak.
Now, Van Johnson, that was a guy that was not 4F, and he did not want to serve in the war. So he had his agent turn him in as a homosexual. And immediately after that, he was in that automobile accident. And he had a big steel plate put in his forehead from the accident, making him ineligible for service. And so he had to he tried to get the military to scrub the homosexual thing because he said, I'm not gay. And because now he could get out of it because he had the damage to his forehead. And military was like, no, we're going to keep it like it is. It hurt his career, dude. It hurt his career. His legitimacy was put to question when so many actors and directors went to war. Producers, too, went and fought in that war while Van Johnson didn't want to. And he pussied out and did that. And they're like, no, it's okay. Well, guys like Lou Ayres, he was famous for playing the German kid in All Quiet on the Western Front, and won an Oscar. And he was a conscientious objector, and that was all that was released publicly. And so it ruined his career for years. And then it was found out that he still served in the military as a combat medic and was in combat and was decorated. And he finally he started getting work in Hollywood again because of that. But Van Johnson, his career survived, but it limped along for a long time. The 50s were not.
Well, he also had a bad problem with booze.
Oh yeah, he was a big boozer. That's how he had that rose thing going on with his face all the time. He was always red from drinking. And but Battleground's good because it also has two of my favorite veteran actors. Actually, three of them. You got
James Arness.
James Arness, who also is in another movie with him. The other actor is Whitmore. James Whitmore is a World War II veteran, and Ricardo Montalban was in the film.
Say again.
You heard me, motherfucker. Ricardo, all three of them were war veterans. And I'm certain that a lot of the cast of that film were. So Van Johnson should have felt really awful being around all those guys that were actual combat vets. And something in common is, Arness, of course, was wounded in combat at Anzio.
Yeah.
You and I really love actors that served in the military, dude. You and I talk about this. It's like when you love guys, I love veterans to begin with. But when I see guys,
my whole life, Gerry, I idolized John Wayne. I really did until after I got back from Nam. And I'll tell you what, pal, I started doing a little background and look up, and for a guy that basically personified the military and Americans serving in combat, he was a pussy. Okay, I'm sorry. That's just how it is. He was a pussy.
Yeah, and I mean, he did support patriotism and all that, but
yes,
yeah,
he did. But he could have served, and he didn't. And I'll tell you, my attitude has dramatically hardened, and Vicky tells me this all the time. But the bottom line is, if you could have served,
did everybody hear her say, "Oh yeah"?
Oh yeah.
You could have served, but you pussied out. Well, hey, that does it for me. I'm sorry. That's just how it is.
Yeah. Now I got to say again that there are two other actors in this film in smaller parts in the film, and one of them was the most decorated Marine of World War II. Is actor Neville Brand. Neville's in that film too, and another favorite of my dad's and me, Richard Jekyll.
Oh yeah.
And Richard was one of my. I just hated when he died, man. I got so upset when he died. He died young.
Do you remember that bear movie he was in? He played an outdoorsman, a tracker, a guide, and there was this giant bear. God, I'm trying to remember now. This giant grizzly, and he was out tracking it. He had a Winchester 30-30. He was wearing a deer skin. It was a modern movie in the 70s, but he ran into that bear.
He was in Day of the Animals. Is that the one you're talking about? He played a professor in that.
I don't recall. But that what the hell was that guy's name? Him and his beautiful blonde wife played in it too, and he was the hero. She was the damsel in distress. Richard Jekyll was ended up being bear shit. God, I can't remember. I'm sorry. Yeah, he ended up being kibble.
Yep. Somebody got eaten. For some reason, the only film I can find is Day of the Animals, which was one of those films where nature goes awry because of man. And I'm trying to see if he gets killed and eaten. Yes, that's the movie. The bear kills Richard Jekyll's character and eats him. That's it right there.
Well, who were the main male and female stars?
Let me look at the cast. Where's the cast? It is Christopher George.
Yes.
Leslie Nielsen and Linda Day George.
Yes.
Yeah, she was gorgeous. Christopher, I remember him from Rat Patrol.
Back in the 60s, the swinging 60s.
But yeah, Christopher George was one of the main characters in Rat Patrol, which was a great World War II TV series. Leslie Nielsen, he was still doing serious acting at that point. It wasn't until Airplane that somebody decided that dramatic actors are good at comedy. And that's what he did for the rest of his career.
Don't forget the Forbidden Planet, bud.
Oh, hell yeah. We wouldn't have Star Trek. We wouldn't have Star Trek without Forbidden Planet. And that's right. A lot of people don't realize that of the two Vietnam War action hero movie actors, one of them actually served, and that's Chuck Norris, not Stallone.
Stallone was making soft porn in Europe back in those days.
Well, he was also in school in Europe, which was as long as you were in school full time, you were able to defer and not serve during the draft of Vietnam. And that's how he did it. Is he stayed in college during the Vietnam War. Yes, Ted Williams. I'm going to say something about Ted Williams. I was talking about this the other day, because Ted Williams, if not for World War II and Korea, would have had every record for batting. He was a beast at bat, and he would have beat everybody, Babe Ruth, all of them. That guy was a hitter. He was a cleanup guy, absolute one of the best batters in the history of the game. And he got drafted twice, World War II and Korea, because he was a trained combat pilot.
Well, in many ways today, with all the guys and gals that did multiple deployments to the sandbox, in many ways that was reminiscent of Korea. My old man was a World War II vet, wounded. And when Korea happened, guess what? They sucked him right back. And boy, was Mom pissed. Mom was pissed. But hey, what are you going to do?
Yeah, you gotta. It is what it is. It's what I've always said. Is what it is. What are you going to do about it? You can piss and moan, but the fact is, you're still going to do it. It's better just to go in with a positive attitude and not stress out about it.
Well, he came back. He came back. He was a master sergeant when he got back, and he became a warrant officer, which is probably the best military rank in the armed forces. Was a warrant, and when he retired, he was a senior warrant, and they were like unto God.
Well, the only thing that sucks about the warrant officer corps is you can only get to 4.
Right.
And there's no growth after that. No
Well,
change.
they offered him, if he would have stayed, he had 25 by then. They offered to transfer him to a lieutenant colonel.
Yeah, that's really cool. I want to point something out real quick here. Hold on. I have that Robbie the Robot from Walmart. It's great. It sits in my room. It's a beautiful toy. And Lee Marvin, decorated wounded warrior. But
Battle of Saipan.
But he was, I always tell people, I love Lee Marvin, and he and John Wayne had a very close relationship, very good friends. But Marvin was more fitting to Hollywood politically. But he still was a man about everything. And that's the problem I have with leftists is they want to do away with masculinity, whereas Lee Marvin was intensely masculine. And but there is a great story with John Borman. You guys all hope you know who John Borman is with Lee Marvin at an airport. They're catching a flight to go to Borneo, where they shot part of Hell in the Pacific. And as they're waiting for the plane, Marvin is sitting there with a hat on. I don't remember what the hat was. I think it was a cowboy hat. They had it pulled down so he's sleeping, but somebody saw him, and it was a what do you call it? With 2 egg clusters on their hats. What rank is that? I forget.
Scrambled eggs.
Yeah, the scrambled eggs.
Well, Major, Lieutenant Colonel, Colonel.
That's it. I think it's Lieutenant Colonel. I think that's what it was. Anyway, so the attaché soldier, I don't know what rank he was, that was with him, walked over to Lee Marvin and said, "Excuse me, sir, but the officer here is a big fan of yours and didn't want to bother you, but he sent me over instead," kind of thing. It was really awkward, and it annoyed Lee Marvin. It clearly annoyed him. So when the guy walked up to him, he grabbed his hat and he started chewing on the scrambled egg. It sat back down, put the hat on, and put it down to his nose and sat back. And the colonel, Lieutenant Colonel, was so freaked out by it, he just walked away. He walked away. And like 20 minutes later, before that guy's flight left, he sent his attaché over again to beg for his hat back. Borman tells his story. It's on video. And I fucking love Lee Marvin, man. That guy was the shit. I think one of his senior NCOs described him. He says, "I saw him before I think they're out in the what do you call it? Shelter have tents, and where 2 guys have a shelter half and they put it together and you have full shelter.
Pup tents.
And they're not really pup tents. They're referred to as shelter halves, and so he's in between the tents where there's a tree. And he's practicing throwing his combat knife. And that's how the sergeant found him over there, practicing throwing his combat knife. And I love that little moment, where that's Lee Marvin intensely training himself. And Lee Marvin, everybody's killed. He was the only survivor. And I think it was Saipan, wasn't it?
Saipan,
sorry. Saipan. And he was the only survivor from his team. Everybody else was killed. And he had the worst survivor's guilt. He kept wanting to go back and die.
Yeah, well, Lee Marvin may have been a leftist, but he wouldn't have put up with the kind of leftist that Hollywood
He
is
was a
now.
liberal. I wouldn't call him a leftist.
Yeah.
But he fit in with the Hollywood really well. But Lee Marvin also was very manly. And he falls into that category of the Democrats that I get along with. The guys that call bullshit on the woke leftist assholes. Like Keith. Keith's all about being a man, you know, and he hates this anti-masculine shit as much as I do. But
what are your feelings on Wind Talkers?
The Wind Talkers? Oh my God. I'm so pissed that movie sucked. That I thought they would do a much better job of that. The Navajo had a language. It's practically dead now. There's very few that speak true Navajo. And that they were able to break the code and create a code in itself that couldn't be broken. I'm like, that's amazing. But I cannot stand that film with Nick Cage. I thought it was terrible. John Woo at his worst. But I love the story of the Wind Talkers.
Well, you know, now this will give you a little insight into how my mind works. But the Navajo their roots go back to the Anasazi, who disappeared.
Yep, they just
under
gone.
Mysterious circumstances.
Twice in the history of American Indians was them, and then south of them, the culture of was it the Mayans?
No, Olmecs.
Yeah,
I thought it's the Olmecs that just disappeared without a trace.
Disappeared without a trace, with stuff left on the table, kind of stuff, just
Now,
overnight.
My point being that this weekend, now I've been a maniac for a long time about ultra ancient pre-diluvial history, what we know about it, and regardless of your feelings on Graham Hancock, and he's got his points with me, and then there are other things that I don't agree with. But that being said, he's got a new series on that really will blow your mind on Netflix called
I just
Ancient
saw
Apocalypse.
Ancient Apocalypse. I just saw a promo for that, and I added it to my queue to watch.
Yeah,
oh my God. Oh my God.
Is it
Gerry?
good?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Now, are you familiar with a book that was published in 1965, and immediately following the publication, it's called The Adam and Eve Story, and I'm sure this is a pseudonym, by an author by the name of Chan Thomas. The following year, 1966, the Central Intelligence Agency came in, classified that book, and picked up every copy of it. And until 2013, it was absolutely unavailable. You couldn't get it anywhere. And in 2013, after a number of people that know about it filed Freedom of Information Act requests on it, the CIA finally released 57 pages from this book. Prominently on top of and bottom of the pages, this was a sanitized document. The original book was 284 pages, and it involves an absolutely, catastrophic devastation of planet Earth roughly 13,000 years ago. That something happened, and probably was the reason the famous, infamous Atlantis myth basically began, was destroyed. The oceans at that time rose almost 400 feet as a result of the ice caps, almost in the blink of an eye melting. It is something, I definitely, one of these weeks on the UFO show, I want to talk about that, because the information that has been gathered about that event will blow your freaking minds. And it might happen again. That's the ass kicker. It
Yeah, and
could
here,
very well
by the way,
happen again.
this is the show you were just talking about. I saw this and I'm like, oh wow, I want to watch this. Ancient Apocalypse, available as of November 11th, which we've already passed, and I have got this in my queue to watch this week. Very intrigued by this show, and that you like it, I definitely want to. Now, I want to say something about this, and it's funny. I love what you're saying here. I always get mad at people, not you, Dragon, because you're making fun of that. It's like I've got close friends and family who are American Indian. And the word Indian comes from the Spanish word indios or indio, which means close to God. And at the time, because the guys, revisionists love to just make up shit. They like to say that the American Indians and the discovery of the New World was an accident, a fluke. That's not true. That's a lie. Columbus knew where he was going. Any good maritime captain would. It's ridiculous. And if you meant the other Indians that we find in the east, east, was it West Asia, Western Asia, you would not call them Indian. You would have called them Hindi. But you got to know your history to know that. They were not called Indians back then. It's just dumb when I hear that shit. It's just stupid. Learn some fucking history, and before you open your fucking mouth about stuff like that. My first F word of the show.
There go the F words.
Yeah, I haven't heard of
one.
Two.
No,
Don,
I didn't.
I haven't heard of this.
You said
two,
twice.
Gary. Two.
See, Don is on it.
I don't remember saying it any other time because I was
You just
conscious
said
when I
it
said
twice.
it.
Just set them back to back. Fucking fuck.
Oh, well, that doesn't count then. That's one sentence,
does.
goddammit.
That does.
One
That
sentence,
does.
one word, one reference. That's it.
Two bumps.
Anyway, the point is that
You're
if you
outnumbered.
learn something about your history, especially when it deals with the Americas, you would know that the word Indian means close to God. And that is what was thought of the natives of this country when they were met the first time. And the Spanish referred to them as Indio or Indios. I love that.
They still wiped them out.
Oh, no question about it. No question about it. That greed is a driving force for
And
a
disease.
country.
And disease.
Yeah.
Syphilis, smallpox, everything that the natives in this region did not have immunity to. And the Spanish were disease-carrying fucks.
Yeah, they were really, in my opinion, the real first carriers of STDs because they hit so many ports, including Ireland, because that's where you get your Black Irish from, is from the Spaniards. And they didn't invade Ireland. What they did is they hit the shipping ports because there was a lot of shipping going on. They hit those ports and they banged the Irish.
The Spanish Armada, okay.
Yeah.
The great storms that washed them up on the shores of Ireland.
Those two. But the fact is the merchants were always the shipping of merchandise was something that happened, and there was a lot of money to be made in Ireland. And they banged the women. The Vikings did the same thing. That's why you've got this weird mixture of something that doesn't come natural to Celtics, which is red hair and black hair, black eyes, or dark hair,
And
dark
green
eyes.
eyes. Green eyes. Don't forget
Green
the
eyes
green
aren't.
eyes.
Yeah, green eyes aren't normal for Ireland. It's the true Celtoids were different than what we see today. The closest thing you see to true Irish is the people with square jaws and mug faces. Father Weems, my godfather, has that classic Barry Fitzgerald look to him, which is really more traditional Irish, what the Irish look like. But they were so put upon by Vikings and the Norsemen and the Spanish that the true race of Ireland is just gone, really. And I love it when stupid people, scientists say that by the year 2040, red hair will, gingers will be gone. And I'm like, that's just bullshit. Because it can be a recessive gene too. So you're full of shit.
Maybe that's why they are recasting gingers.
No, Hollywood just hates gingers. Yeah, Brave. Oh my God, I love that movie. Kevin Kidd is one of my favorite Scottish actors, and he actually knew how to do the ancient Scottish. And when you hear him talk in the movie, you can't understand him because even the Scottish actors were like, I have no idea what he just said. They couldn't figure out what Kevin Kidd was saying. Like Craig Ferguson and Kevin Kidd are close friends, both of them from Scotland, the Highlands. And even Craig was like, I don't know what you said in that scene because he played a clip. He goes, I don't know what you just said. He goes, those are real words I was using. And he was using one of the ancient Scottish accents, and he knew how to do it. I'm like, that's great. I love the movie Brave. I really do. I enjoy the crap out of that film. One of the last good Disney films I enjoyed. So, but, and yeah, it's at this point, if there's a ginger, it will be race swapped. They just don't like gingers for some reason in Hollywood. Is what it is. As we just said a minute ago, when things suck, yes, we can do something about it. Stop giving them our money. That's how you do it. Yep. Don't protest. You don't need to go up and do a campaign on some group, run a campaign to, stop something. Just stop giving them your freaking money. Stop sharing promos and then saying something. When I say something negative about a show, I don't share one of their videos. I will only share a video that was uploaded by someone that was anti whatever it is that they're doing stupid. Because if you share the trailer and say how much you hate it, doesn't matter what you said. You just promoted the film. Stop doing that. As Bob Newhart would say, stop it. No, that's Arnold. Stop it. Yeah, nobody's going to watch it. It's already gotten blasted because people have already seen it. Early showing of The Little Mermaid. It's like, it's not going to be good. Well, they did, but he's also not really a ginger. I don't know what that kid was. Like, weird hair. I hated that show. Riverdale. It's like, everything's got to be dark. They did the same thing with Sabrina. Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Instead of a witch, they made her a Satanist.
Yeah,
all of them are, they're all Satanists. What? Keith loves that show. I can't stand it. I'm offended by it because I grew up on Sabrina and the Archies, reading those comics and watching the cartoons. Josie and the Pussycats, Sabrina, the Archies. And they turned everything dark and evil, sinister. It's all sinister. And
so stupid.
Hollywood.
Reflect modern sensibilities.
Yeah, modern sensibilities. When you hear the word modern sensibilities,
run.
You can anticipate garbage. And when they said that they're going to be redoing something recently and do it with modern sensibilities, immediately everybody's like, reject it. Don't watch it. Everything they do, whether it's Cthulhu or not, that's not witchcraft. It's still a form. Cthulhu is just another name for a satanic character. They use all the satanic stuff, bloodletting, sacrifices, shit like that. It's just dumb and it's weird, and it's not Sabrina. Hey, let's take a fresh new look and make her Satanist. It's sort of like when not heavy metal, when National Lampoon did a modern cartoon of Tabitha when she grew up. National Lampoon magazine, and the cartoon had them as Satanists, worshiping Satan, and I was just like, "Nah, I'm out. That's not what the witchcraft." It's back in the 70s. I get it if you don't know that, but by the time we got to the 90s, everybody knew the difference between cultism, Satanism, and witchcraft. And there's two forms of witchcraft, which is white magic and black magic. So, yeah, I just call bullshit on all of it. It's like we can't get away with that stuff anymore. We should know better. So bullshit. Well, we've hit the 2-hour mark, and I want to thank the private chat. Let's get in there. Penny was first in here. Dr. Dragon, D. Bud Martin, Colonizer Jeebus, Dragon Ruse, Joseph Dredd, Zax, Charlie Bruce, Alex Moore, The Dork Knight, Jacob the Critic, Scribe Light, Joe's Atmosphere, Keto Simple, Stephanie Beatty, the Peter Vinkman fan site, Zacharot315, and Bill Berkeley from Scotland. I want to thank my panel. Thank Joe for dropping in and Danny. I want to thank Don for dropping into the show. I want to thank John for being stoic and actually, you know, he's one of those people that can sit absolutely still for so long you wonder if his screen is frozen.
True. That's true. Sometimes when he speaks, I'm like, whoa.
Like right now, he's doing it right now. He's doing it now. I want to thank Anima Confusa for being here, love of my life. And, of course, Martina Costa Santana for being the right side of my brain and helping me run the show. We are out of here. Chris will be here tomorrow with Morning Coffee with Chris. I forget what he's talking about. He said what he was talking about, and I've forgotten already.
H.P. Lovecraft versus Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, okay, that'll be good.
I got to tell Martine one thing. Jew are wonderful.
I will not acknowledge that.
We'll acknowledge that. All right, into the show, guys. Thanks for being here. I hope everybody has a good Monday. I hate it when Mondays suck, so try to make it as good a Monday as possible. And
I only get better.
Try to be nice to each other. And with that,
hey guys, thanks for watching Pop Culture Minefield. If you've enjoyed the show, please make sure to like, subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell icon for updates on our shows and channel. Also, please leave a comment, and we'd like to know what you thought of the episode, as well as letting us know if there's something you'd like us to cover in a future episode. Don't forget that you can become a member of Pop Culture Minefield now. Make sure to visit our membership page and merch store at popcultureminefield.com. You can always find Pop Culture Minefield on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch.
Blame Martin for that cover. You know, we didn't mention you in there. I read every name. So I love you too, buddy.